What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bench. We are the 12 of our brothers. And as you can see, we are not together today. I am out of town. Angel's back home. And but welcome. Angel, what's
Yeah,
up?
welcome. Why don't you tell people where you're at?
Yeah, I'm in the city of Denver. My wife and I are celebrating
Mm,
4 years. So 4 years married, celebrating, exploring Denver. I heard what's his name? Pastor Sertan yesterday on the train, welcoming everyone to the
mm,
city. So that was
yeah,
fun.
he's
You
a big
haven't
deal
seen a
there.
lot of Bronco jerseys, seen a ton of Nuggets jerseys.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. If you live in Denver, you probably don't wear. This is the time to wear Nuggets jerseys for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Yep. I
Yep.
um
And
I
you were there for NBA tip-off for
yeah,
the
Lakers
Nuggets.
are in
Yeah.
town to get smoked by the defending champion Nuggets. By the way,
Yep.
it is sports, it's a sports mecca right now. Like not Denver, I'm saying this time in the year. Last night you had
Yeah.
playoff baseball on, you had game 7. I was watching Phillies
That was so
D-backs.
good.
Congratulations to the D-backs, even though I was really pulling
Yep.
for the Phillies. You obviously have week 7 coming up here, and then basketball
NBA tip-off.
tip off
Yeah, it
yesterday.
was
And then if you're into
good.
it, hockey had 10 games last night. So
I wouldn't know that, but if it's on,
yeah,
it's on. I watched the game. I watched the Phillies game when the Phillies lost against the D-backs. Right before that, I watched the Laker game, and then
yeah,
like tomorrow night or Thursday night, I'm sorry, it's just football plus baseball. It's gonna be awesome. It's
yeah.
the
It is
perfect time of
a
year.
it is a great time in sports. Welcome to Bench. We are the Tovar Brothers. This is episode for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, and is episode number 44. Famous 44s.
Oh man,
Fun fact, 44 is
44.
actually, as you're thinking, 44 is the first number I ever wore as a football player. It's number 44.
We were all wondering what
Oh,
you
look, this is
wore.
cool. Look,
Yeah, you're. That is cool.
yeah, 44. I can't literally think of anyone.
Oh, there's some old school ones.
Yeah, shoot.
Old school ones. John Riggin, Dick
Wow.
LeBeau, Floyd Little. Need some
Yeah.
all these old school guys were,
Okay,
but
so not a
nowadays
great,
don't.
not a great number, not to bring up. 45 hopefully is a little better. But yeah, episode 44. Really excited if you're catching
Yeah.
us on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. And it's gonna be a fun show. On today's show, we're going to update the news. There's a lot of news going on, a lot of things going
Oh,
on. We
the
are ranking up
trades.
until trade deadline. Honestly, that's our favorite time of the year.
Oh yeah.
When we feel the
Oh
most
yeah.
alive is trade deadline for the NFL season and
Hmm.
also in the off season. It's my favorite time.
Yeah.
Eagles might have kicked things off a little early. Very excited about that. We'll get into that. Also, we're going to get to version 8.0 of Angels Heavenly Top 10. Obviously, that's always a good time. And then we'll
Always a good
preview
time.
Thursday night's game, Bills Bucs. That should be a very, very good game.
Yeah. My sweetheart team this year, the Buccaneers, going against the Bills. So great game.
Yeah, very excited. Let's get into the news. Okay, the news is brought to you by 818 Brewing, and I'm on my wife's laptop, so I don't have the full read in front of me, so that's all you get. It's brought to you by 818 Brewing.
Yeah. There you go. That's all they
Uh,
need.
First here, the Titans have made a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's number one on my list, not because I'm an Eagles fan, but
Mm.
because the tweet that I copied it from was just it was the first on the list. So, Titans have traded safety Kevin Byard to the Eagles for a fifth and sixth round pick, and also Terrell Edmonds, who got smoked multiple times on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. And so they ship him out of town. They bring in Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
I am incredibly excited about this. Like
As an Eagles fan, for
I
sure.
am
Yeah.
super pumped about this. We talked about this, me and you, because we knew we needed a safety. We've needed a safety since the offseason. Like that's everyone's known that. We lost both safeties after the Super Bowl loss. They went to different teams. And we like Reed Blankenship, but that other safety spot has just not been something we were confident in. And so we were talking about what kind of safety the Eagles should acquire. And I said we need to acquire someone who is kind of a master of many different skill sets. And Kevin Bayard fits the mold. He plays a little
Yeah.
slot. He plays a little free safety. He plays in the box. He's just a good veteran safety. It reminds me a lot of Malcolm Jenkins, honestly.
And like every year the Eagles have done, they very aggressive at the deadline. You saw them get kind of like you kind of on a wish on a hope and a prayer when you're facing Tyreek Hill on a Sunday football. You're kind of hoping like you just needed depth back there. You needed a playmaker, and we were debating Justin Simmons or another safety. But Simmons is more traditional free safety. Does that thing that what's the did last year? Malcolm Jenkins is probably a pretty good comparison.
Yeah,
Nickel, a little
Gardner Johnson.
nickel, a little bit. Yeah, Garner
You
Johnson.
can never remember Chauncey Gardner Johnson's name.
I don't know why. I don't know why I can never remember his name. But no, this is great for the Eagles. This is great.
Incredibly excited. We did
also. This means the Titans are sellers, so that's also very exciting.
Very exciting. You're talking Traylon Burks, possibly DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, and then who knows who else on this defense?
Yeah, who knows? There's
a lot of aging players on this defense.
So,
very
excited. Yeah.
I do want to say we held the Dolphins to like season lows, but watching the game, it very much did feel like a bend but don't break type performance. Like like Tyreek Hill and Waddle definitely were just a couple of drop balls, a couple of miscues away from scoring much more than they did Sunday night.
Yeah,
and so I don't want to. I'm glad we didn't look at that performance and think, oh, we're good. Like we don't need to, because we weren't. But anyways, moving on here. I don't want to spend too much on this one because it's been talked about so much, but I don't think we've talked about it that much. The NFL will ask the Falcons details as to why Bijan Robinson's illness was not reported before the game. I ask you this, Angel: is this BS? Is this a hidden suspension?
Yeah, this is just this is like a team. Probably they like suspended him for like a half or something. He did, and they didn't think it through what they should say to the media. Because now the NFL needs to rescue. They should have just said it wasn't in the game plan. That's all you should have said.
So they landed on he wasn't feeling himself.
And then he said that he had a headache, and then the NFL was like, "Well, you need to report this." Either way, it'll blow over once next week. But John Robinson will be just fine. Right. It'll blow over. Fantasy owners were really mad, which I get because So, but either way, it'll blow over. The Falcons might see a little bit of backlash here from the league, but they should blow over.
Broncos safety Kareem Jackson originally suspended 4 games for multiple illegal hits, and we gotta point that out too, because I've seen on Twitter many times like 4 games for that hit. No, it was 4 games because this is he's done this
accumulation.
Yes, many times this year. He did appeal it down to 2 games. He'll miss 2 games for those hits. He'll be back, and I don't think he'll change the way he plays because that's how he's staying in the league right now, by being a physical force.
Yeah, this might be his last year in the league, so he should enjoy it.
Something I'm very excited about here: the Dolphins will be on HBO's in-season version of Hard Knocks. Are you excited for this?
That's fun. I didn't know it was in season. I thought it was next season. But that's pretty fun. You could see them. Mike McDaniel is always a joy to be on. Yeah. A joy to put a mic on. So.
Oh yeah, imagine. Oh man, I can't wait for Mike McDaniel's.
I imagine Tua's pretty boring though. Tua's probably a pretty boring guy to listen to.
You think so?
And Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek seems like a good time.
Oh yeah. He streams that. He's used to the cameras being right in his face, so he'll be fine. And then Christian Wilkins. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
A couple of unfortunate injuries here to get to. Seahawks linebacker, Uchenna Nwosu, out for the season with a torn pec injury.
Big deal to this
big deal for them. Yeah. Because they don't have a lot of pass rushing, and he is it.
Yeah, so trade deadline buyers for them for sure. We'll pass rusher.
The Chiefs star linebacker Nick Bolton will need surgery on a dislocated wrist and is expected to miss roughly 2 months. Tough loss for this Kansas City defense. He is a huge part of what they do.
Yeah, for a second I thought they just put the big old club. I thought they put the clubs on him, but I guess not. Yeah, this sucks. He's an absolute stud. But knowing the Chiefs, they'll be just fine.
Bills tight end Dawson Knox, he'll also need wrist surgery, and he's going to miss some time here. Dalton Kincaid, time to step
Fantasy-wise. Yeah, fantasy-wise in real life, this is his time to shine. He had a great showing last week. I think 8 catches or something like that. So, yeah, very nice timing to draft a rookie tight end when you lose your first tight end.
Yeah, shout out to the rookie tight ends this year. They're doing their thing.
A lot of them this year.
Love it.
A lot of this, yeah.
Some trade deadline stuff here. Several teams have called about wide receiver availability. People trying to stack their wide receiver rooms here going into the final stretch. Among those names, Marquise Brown, Terrence Marshall, Hunter Renfrow, Jerry Jeudy, and Courtland Sutton. Obviously, Jeudy and Sutton, we've heard that for months now. Those other players, very, very interesting as well. Keep an eye on those guys. Many teams calling the Vikings about Daniel Hunter. Interesting point I wanted to ask you about. With the Vikings' big win on Monday night against the Niners, are the Vikings sellers? They're 3-4.
I don't know. I mean, they're 3-4, so they're 3-4, only one game under 500 in this division where they're obviously the NFC North isn't stacked. So who knows? I mean,
yeah,
I would be sellers if I was them, but they won a very convincing, very good game Monday night. So it's tough. It's tough. As a Vikings fan, I'll be very torn on what you want to do now.
A couple points I want to make about Monday night's game. Number one, I think Brian Flores is starting to get his fingerprints on this defense. They're looking better. They're looking more like a Brian Flores defense. We both believe in him as a defensive coordinator. Number two, Kirk Cousins has never been the problem. He plays well in primetime. He played well again. He has finally had some help on the defense side of the football, and they beat a very, very good team. Number three, 3-4. I don't agree with you. I think they should absolutely not be sellers. You have Kirk Cousins for who knows how much longer. You're going to have now, Angel, think about this. Addison, Jefferson, Osborne is no slouch. Hawkinson, you have the two backs in the backfield, and this defense is playing like that. The NFC, to me, there's a lot to figure out there still.
Well, I didn't say they'd sell. I said I'd be torn if I was a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
Because you're like, should we build for next year? But this year is still good. But yeah, you're exactly right. This year, the NFC is still wide open as far as the back end of the playoff seeding. They could easily be one of these guys here. And, I could see them being better than the Buccaneers who are going to play Thursday night. Like they're – and it's never Kirk's fault. He did it in primetime against the 49ers. That whole stuff about him not being able to perform in primetime should be done now. He beat at the time one of the best teams in the NFL in primetime.
We didn't do it primetime. Brock Purdy. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah,
I saw some notes. I saw some notes in your top 10, so I won't touch that. The Bucs have checked in on running backs across the league. They're obviously looking for some running back help there. If you're a Rachaad White owner, might want to go sell him.
Yeah.
This is an interesting story. I think to me, it's hilarious. It's classic Jim Irsay. Colts owner Jim Irsay said that the NFL admitted to them that they did not make several calls correctly during the end of the games on Sunday versus the Browns. What's funny about this is the NFL does this where they'll disclose to teams like, hey, we screwed this up. Like this is a mistake for us. Sorry. But the agreement is that they do that and the team and the organization is not allowed to publicly comment on that. And so here's Jim Irsay tweeting about it, saying the NFL said they missed this, this, and this. And now he's calling for instant replay on every single play, which is just a retarded idea. Or sorry, can I say retarded? Which is a bad idea. And I mean, what do you think about this whole thing?
I thought he said he wants instant replay for every call within 2 minutes. But either way, Irsay needs to just relax, man. Because you have Twitter doesn't mean you need to use Twitter. Sometimes just be a little just look at funny stuff on Twitter. Don't tweet every single thing that you think. And especially not this. This is like a known thing. The NFL tells NFL teams stuff every day that they're not supposed to tell the league because they're trying to maintain a certain image, and this is just immature, to be honest.
I feel like the NFL is going to come down here pretty harsh with a fine or something because they protect the shield, man. And this is
exactly.
This is not good for the shield for them to come out and say that. You're right. It was the final 2 minutes. Even that to me is thinking like, so what's that final 2 minutes look like? Are we just stopping every play and checking the spot and checking for holding across the line? And like, what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing with that?
It turns into like the last 2 minutes of basketball where it just takes 20 minutes. We don't want that.
Moving on here, the Patriots linebacker Chase Winovich is retiring from the NFL at the age of 28. So long, Chase Winovich.
See you, Chase. Thanks for the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know your name. That's it. And other players stepping away here. Lions receiver Marvin Jones stepping away from football to take care of his a family personal matter. He says shortly after the Lions released him. So long, Marvin Jones.
Yeah, I hope everything works out for him. He was a good teammate on a good team. So
yeah.
Hope this kind of sucks, but hopefully everything works out for him.
That's the news brought to you by A1A Brewing. Let's get into Angels Heavenly Top 10.
Welcome back to Angels Heavenly Top 10. A lot of movers this week. A lot of big games that decided a lot of things for me. Let's go through it. At number 10, the Seattle Seahawks stay at number 10. Geno Smith not having the same year that he did last year, but his defense keeps them in games. They have room for improvement. Top 10 for sure, but as of right now, still at number 10. And at number 9, the Dallas Cowboys. This defense has been showing inconsistency since the Diggs injury. This team is only going to go as far as that defense takes them. So this is why they're struggling now. That defense isn't doing what it once was. And the streakiness of this offense doesn't make me want to move them up. They're hanging on to number 9, to be honest with you. And number 8, the Buffalo Bills. The ups and downs of this team will cost them a top 5 spot for the rest of the year. They have all the talent in the world, but they can't string together enough good games to justify a top 3, top 5 ranking for me. They're just too up and down. They're 4-3. They're almost 500, and they're above 4-2 teams, which means they're talented, but just not putting it together. They land here at number 8. At number 7, the Jacksonville Jaguars. On a 4-game win streak, this team just gets it done. I'm not sure what they're elite at. I just know that they're winning, and winning is everything in this league. They won 5 games, so they will land at number 7. And safe to say, they haven't hit their stride offensively. So number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars, and number 6, the Miami Dolphins. I like this team a lot. I love the roster. I love the playmakers, but they have to have a signature win at some point. They haven't won against a over 500 team this year. That cannot happen to be top 5. So they're right outside top 5 here at number 6. They get a little boost with Jalen Ramsey coming back, so hopefully that might help out their defense a little bit. But anyways, at number 5, the Detroit Lions. Embarrassing loss against the Ravens. Embarrassing. It cost them a top 5 spot in my power rankings. But they'll bounce back. They have the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday night. They'll bounce right back. Every team's allowed a loss or a bad loss. I'm not going to punch them too bad, but they do move from number 4 to number 5 for me. And number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. I've been on this team all year.
Yeah.
This team, Lamar is playing like he did when he was MVP. This defense is top 3 in the NFL, and their head coach has done that. They need to be buyers at the deadline for a running back. But either way, top 4 team with room to move up to the top 3. To be honest, this roster is good.
Yeah,
they're finally healthy, and it's showing. And at number 3, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
For one reason, and we all saw it. We all know what it is. Brock Purdy.
Oof.
If Brock Purdy can't win close games, can't win games where the offense isn't flowing, isn't going, and where everyone isn't. We all see how it is when they're rolling. Everything's working. McCaffrey's going, Kittle, Ayuk. But when it's not, when that's not happening, and when he's pressed with back against the wall, he hasn't proven to be an elite quarterback, at least over the top 2 teams that I have. Purdy's the reason why they're at number 3, and we'll see if he can improve. And number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. They bullied the Miami Dolphins in an impressive win. Defense gets a boost, obviously, with Byard. Obviously, that's huge for them. They needed some help in that secondary, and the offense just gets it done. Sometimes it looks pretty, sometimes it looks ugly, but they just get it done. Yeah. They have the best play in football. I don't care what people say. If I was an Eagle fan, I would be very proud of that. And if people, the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, impressive win. The only note I have against them is that Hurts needs to cut down on the turnovers. He's a little bit turnover happy this year, but number 2, love this roster at 6-1. And at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just winning. They just win. And this defense is the most underrated unit in the league. This defense keeps every game low. enough to where Patrick Mahomes finally got going last week with four touchdown passes. They're Super Bowl favorite again. They're rolling again. Kelsey and Mahomes are still the best connection in the NFL, and they're landed here at number 1, and that is Angels Heavenly Top 10, brought to you by nobody.
So version 8.0 is, I think, a great list. I looked at this list earlier, and I was trying to find something that I really disagreed on. And there's a couple things I'm like, yeah, maybe I might move this team, but I really don't have a problem with them being there. But there's a couple things I love about the list. This is not one of them, but I just want to mention the Chiefs at number 1. And they just, I think, started looking themselves.
It's crazy.
Thing. They just played their first game where we thought, that's the Chiefs. That's the Chiefs. And yet they never faltered, I think, from number 2, right? Did they ever dip below number 1?
No. No. They went to 2. Last week they were number 2, I think. Yeah.
That's amazing. They're incredible. I do think the Eagles did deserve, with that win over the Dolphins, to get number 2. Number 3, the point I want to make about the 49ers is the rest of their season needs to be about having these weapons healthy in the playoffs. Because Purdy, without a healthy Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, who am I missing? And Ayuk. Without that, he's not the same guy. And that's not a critique on him. That's just what it is. And he could grow past that. I'm not saying this is what he'll always be. He can't get better, anything like that. But it's just a different offense when he doesn't have those 4 guys healthy at his disposal. And so their season needs to be about having all these guys healthy in the postseason. Not about the number 1 seed, not about style points, not about anything else. Get to the playoffs and have these guys healthy, and you can beat anyone. But if you don't have these guys healthy, you can lose to the Browns, and you can lose to the Vikings, and you can look really bad doing it. You don't want it. Purdy just isn't ready at this moment to win those kind of games at the end there. And I thought it's a glaring thing here. Number 4, I want to give you props to the Ravens, man. You've been on them, and I've been low on them. And here they are going into week. I said 7 earlier. It's week 8, but going into week number 8, and I don't know where the weakness is on this team. Like, their running game is not a strength, but I don't know if I'd call it a weakness. They're fine. They're not dynamic.
Because Lamar Jackson is their running back.
Right. Obviously a wide receiver, I think they're fine, but it's definitely not a weakness type thing. But yeah, the defense is incredible, and I'm very, very excited about this Ravens team now. All of a sudden, quick note on the Chiefs: losing Nick Bolton's going to be an issue.
We'll see how they bounce back. Yeah. We'll see.
Lions, I love that you didn't penalize them too much. They had a bad game. Now, what I want to see, Lions, because this is what happens, Lions. Good teams, they'll lose a game like this. The Chiefs will lose to Lions week 1, and they'll bounce back and win 5 in a row. Right? Yep. Lions, come back here. I think they're playing the Raiders next. Come back on the Raiders and look like the Lions again. And everything's fine.
What a godsend for the Raiders to come back at them.
The only switch I would make in your list is here. It's the Dolphins and the Jags. And that seems kind of crazy. I think the Jags, at this point, watching both of them, I think the Jags are an overall better team. I think there's less weaknesses to them than the Lions. The Lions, I don't want to be one of these teams that harp on you haven't beat anyone good, because the Eagles dealt with that last year, and your schedule is what it is, and you beat the teams that you can, and the ones you don't, you just move on. You play the next team. But I think the Jags, to me, have been a little more impressive with the 4-game win streak that they're on, and I don't know. I might switch that, but I'm not mad at it. Bills are scaring me, because I don't know what they are week to week.
Yep.
And that's kind of what you said in your list. And 8, to me, immediately I want to cringe at that. What? This is not a number 8 roster, and yet you can't help. You are what your results say you are in the NFL. You are what your record is in the NFL. They're 4-3 at this point. They're above 2 4-2 teams. They are a top 3 talent, and yet,
absolutely,
like you said, they might not crack top 5 again, just because I don't know if they'll be able to string enough games to get together to get up there.
Same every year for them.
I would switch the Seahawks and Cowboys. I think the Seahawks have just been more impressive to me. I think they have a better roster. I think Geno is very comparable to Dak. I think they're pretty much the same guy at this point in their careers. Um, I think the Seahawks are just more talented up and down the roster. But yeah, I think you said the Cowboys are hanging on, and I feel that too. And they're kind of like the NFC Bills, like they're a top three talent. But they're just so inconsistent. And you can get incredible Micah Parsons. You can get incredible Dexter Lawrence, or not Dexter Lawrence. Who am I thinking of? Dexter Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence is the
Oh,
Giants guy.
yeah,
DeMarcus.
you mean DeMarcus Lawrence.
You could get incredible linebacker play and then secondary play, and then you can get just shredded by teams that have no business being on the field with you. It's just very inconsistent. To me, that always says something about coaching, but you really never know. You really never know. A couple teams that on the outside looking in, I have to imagine the Bucs are just knocking on that door
The Bucs,
incredibly loud.
the Bucs and the Browns. Those two teams, the quarterback play for them is too. It's not elite. It's barely average for both of them. So those are the only reason why those two. If Watson could come back and be anything he once was, Browns would be easy top 10 team for me.
The Browns with a win over the Niners without Watson on the list, on the record, and not having Deshaun Watson back. I mean, yeah, they could storm this top 10 list for sure. And yeah, the Bucs, big game Thursday night against the Bills, where if they win, most likely they're on this list next week.
I'm probably gonna pick them, to be honest. I'm probably gonna pick them.
Game. Yeah, that's all the thoughts I have on your list. I think it's a great list. I love this part of the NFL because now we know kind of what teams are. We've gone through some injury stuff and stuff like that, and people are kind of settling into like what they're going to be this year.
The team identity.
Now it's just that fight to the end. Now it's just that who's gonna
stay healthy.
Yeah, who's gonna stay healthy? Who's gonna bring it every week? Who's gonna be consistent every week? What coaching is going to be able to adjust as the time goes on. I think we're not that far from coaches starting to get canned because there's been some terrible starts to the season.
Yes, there has.
So anyway, yeah, I think it's a great list. Any other thoughts you have?
No, I just want to just the teams on the outside, the Browns and the Buccaneers. I love both these teams, but better quarterback play and they'll be in. But yeah, this top 10 team these are pretty elite teams. For all their flaws, these are the best teams of football in my eyes.
Okay, here is a game preview for Thursday Night Football. One we're very, very excited about as the Bills and Bucs lock horns here. This is going to be in Orchard Park there, New York, at the Bills home stadium. And over-under has it at 42.5. So some points will be scored here. Bills are favored -7.5. I think that's entirely too much, too much of a spread. The Bucs are much better than that. But, I mean, Bills at home, maybe that's just worth so much more than I'm thinking it should be.
Yeah, Bills at home, Bills Maffield will probably bumping the whole night. But yeah, this Buccaneers team isn't a slouch. They're not an easy out either. So for a Bills team trying to get back, this isn't the best team to go against. But yeah, I've been a fan of this Bucs team the whole year. So this could be a great game.
Okay, let's talk Bills real quick. We'll start on that offense, and it all starts with Josh Allen. He ranks 5th in the NFL with 1,800 passing yards this year, is averaging 260 yards per game, 70% completion percentage, has thrown 15 touchdowns, which is the most in the NFL, and 7 interceptions. So he's bringing it.
See, you see that, and you wonder why they're 4-3. Like, it just doesn't mathing.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to that, he's 148 rushing yards, which is second on his own team, and 4 rushing touchdowns. So it seems like Josh Allen. He has great numbers. Those are great numbers. Honestly, I'm impressed by only 7 interceptions. I thought it would be more because of the way he plays. It just always seems like he's trying to make the play every single.
A little bit of hero ball
syndrome.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs there obviously is number 1 target. 55 receptions on the year, 30 NFL with 670 yards, 6 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs is going to be a problem. I don't think the Bucs have anyone to deal with Stephon Diggs.
No, I don't think anyone does. To be honest, he keeps on being good.
What's
elite.
going to be interesting about this game is that the Bucs, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure I'll run into it eventually here. But the Bucs are one of the top, I'd say probably top five against the run. They are no joke against the run. They have a legit front seven, Devin White, those dogs up front.
Vintavea, yeah.
They're very, very good. James Cook and Josh Allen, can they put together any kind of running game here against the Bucs? Because if Josh Allen gets in this mode where they can't run the ball and he just has to throw it, north of 40 times, that's the way I think the Bucs could win.
Yeah, I think the Bucs game plan should be let's stuff the run and make Josh Allen play hero ball. Hopefully, he makes a mistake or two or a fumble or something. But then on this front for the Buccaneers is not a joke. Clyde Jucancy actually finally came back last week, so they're finally fully healthy in that front. I don't see James Cook or Latavius Murray having great nights. Might be a volume night, but I'm not sure yards is going to be on their side
As far
Thursday
as
night.
Bills defense, a couple names to keep an eye on here. Ed Oliver, obviously 4 sacks, second on the Bills there, behind Leonard Floyd, who has 6.5 this year. Those two
Yeah,
guys.
Floyd, 6.5 sacks for a 1 year guy that was
Yep.
not supposed to be this good. Phenomenal for them.
Those two have been great for them. Look for them to provide the pass rush this year or this game. Also, keep an eye on AJ Epinesa, who's been thrust into a bigger role than he was planning because of the loss of Matt Milano. He's been pretty good ever since they left. Anyone else you want to keep an eye on there for the Bills?
No, I just also want to see one of my favorite players of the last decade, Von Miller. I love Von Miller. I'm never gonna hate on Von Miller. I love
Of
that guy.
course. Shame on me for
Yeah,
not mentioning Vaughn. I don't care what his stats are.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Bronco fan. He was. Yeah, I love Vaughn. I'll always be
Over
a
to
fan.
the Bucs now, and their offense. I don't know who. I guess it would start with Baker Mayfield. 1,300, just over 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, completing 65% of his passes, and he's been fine. He's been fine. I think
Fine,
he's been
fine.
better than what most people thought he would. And speaking of that, Mike Evans has been much better than what people thought he would be. 4 touchdowns on the year, almost 500 yards. He's been very, very good.
Yeah, for them to win tomorrow, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have to just dominate,
Yeah.
and they have been. Evans has been proving everyone wrong that I don't care what quarterback I have, I'm going to be good, which he's proven his whole career. Minus Brady, put in Baker Mayfield, he's still producing at the same rate, if not better this year.
Godwin right at 400 yards has not caught a touchdown yet, but that's really not his game. He's more in between the 20s, and
Yeah.
Evans gets it done in the red zone.
But this team does need a run game, though. Rachaad White is nice. He's a nice back. He's nice. But he's not a starter. He's not a workhorse.
Yeah. Just one rushing touchdown on the year, averaging not even 45 yards per game. So that's not going to get done. To put that much pressure on Baker Mayfield is just not going to work. So listen, I think preseason, we all thought come trade deadline, some team is going to go get Mike Evans. Some team is going to go get Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
The Bucs are going to be sellers. We were already looking for teams for these players to go to. And the Bucs said, nope, we're writing this thing. We might win the NFC South.
They've built a good roster there. So you want a good roster when you lose the greatest quarterback of all time, and you're still a contender in the NFC. So props to the GM and the head coach. I don't even like him. Todd Bowles. I'm not a big Todd Bowles guy.
I'm not either.
But he's this team's good. They're no slouch, and defensively, which is what his thing is, they're phenomenal.
Let's get into him defensively here. Before we do that, though, I want to say I think the Bucs are still benefiting from bringing Brady in, because I think what Brady showed them what a championship team is and how it operates. And now he left this team, but this team's like, no, we've been there before. We know how to do it, and we can still hold that level of accountability. Love it. Antoine Winfield Jr. has been fantastic this year. 40 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 passes defense. He's been all over the place. But their star on defense has been for years now Levante David. He is a beast. 2 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 53 tackles. He's been incredible.
And he's fantastic in coverage. So he never has to leave the field.
Right.
You would think that it would be Devin White, but actually Levante David at age 34 or 33 still elite.
Still the leader of that team. Vita Vea, their leading sack number guy, which is crazy. 330 from the
He's not. He's about 350. That dude is. He's a big dude. You don't see these guys in the NFL a lot, so it's nice to see these guys still exist in the NFL. These big nose tackles, but he's more than that because he could rush the passer. So good for him.
3.5 sacks.
He's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. I cheer for him.
3.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. He's just in the backfield constantly. Joe Tyron also very, very good in the backfield, often 3 sacks for him. And I mean the Bucs. We have about a minute here to wrap up, but I think the Bucs to have a chance here have to force some turnovers, lock down that run game, and Baker, Godwin, and Evans have to make some big plays, which is very possible.
Yeah, I think for them to win, they have to have the wide receivers go off, and for them to shut down the Bills' running game and make Josh Allen play. For the Bills to win, they need to have Josh Allen play mistake-free, which he has been sort of this year. And the defense needs to shut down Baker Mayfield, which is possible. So, but I'm
very excited for this game. Thursday Night Football, Bills, Bucs.
Who you got?
I'm picking the Bills at home. Can't pick against them.
I'm picking the Bucs. I'm going my heart.
That's the show for today. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you Thursday. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Enjoy the NBA. Enjoy the World Series. It's going to be a good time. See you Friday.
Bye.